I visited Louisville, Kentucky on June 26th and 27th, 2021. Just for the record, I didn't see any cousins kissing each other and I didn't see anyone with missing teeth. Nonetheless, I split up the city and Jefferson County into 13 sections where I'll be able to show the entire city within a series of just over a dozen videos. In this series of videos, you'll see all of the good and all of the bad. So why not share a fifth of bourbon with your best bud or gal and come along to see the entire city of Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, it's Chris here, and this is going to be my 8th video on Louisville, Kentucky. I'm going to be in the far south and southwestern portions of Louisville. In this video, I go through a section of the city that is bounded by the Watterson Expressway to the north, I-65 to the east, and Dixie Highway to the west. It's an okay area of Louisville, and that's probably the best way to sum it up. You have Iroquois Park, where I start the video, and Waverly Park, though I don't show Waverly Park until my last video of the Louisville series. You also have some industrial areas and the airport. Otherwise, it's mostly a lower middle class residential area where not too much happens. By the way, if you enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the evil monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy checking out some of the featured playlists on this channel. Videos on other places like what you see here can be found in my Louisville playlist or in my Kentucky playlist. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. Iroquois Park seemed nice enough. You have enough hiking and biking trails, and there's a big hill there that offers a decent view of the city from the overlook on the top. I wanted to head there and grab a quick camera shot of the view, but when I was there, the roads that cars can drive on that get close to the overlook were closed to vehicle traffic, and I didn't have the time to spare for a 30 to 45 minute hike, as it took me the entire weekend to film all 13 of these videos. I only had 2 days, and I was basically driving all around the damn city non-stop from the crack of dawn to the late evening to capture everything that I did on both days, and I was able to finish all 13 just in time before the sunset that Sunday. Meanwhile, to the right is Iroquois High School, home of the Raiders. The school opened in 1965 when demand came for a new high school, and it was opened at the site of an older junior high school. Among the most notable alumni is not John Gruden, Derek Carr, or Josh Jacobs, but rather music artist Bryson Tiller and racehorse trainer Brad Cox. Iroquois High School isn't rated very highly on niche.com, as the website, which is pretty fair and accurate, only gives the high school a C-. That pretty much goes along with the public school rankings for the majority of Louisville, as the area is home to the worst ranked schools in the state of Kentucky. Most of the area that I go through in this video is a part of the 40214 zip code. The zip code is home to just under 46,000 residents, and the median household income is $45,000 per year. 20% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher, but the median value of owner-occupied housing units is only $133,000. The poverty rate is pretty high at 19%, which means that nearly 1 out of every 5 residents who live in this neck of the woods are living in poverty. So maybe classifying this area as lower middle class is putting things nicely, as it's more like upper lower class, maybe? However, when looking at the crime data, crime seems to be around the average rates. It's darn near impossible to find crime rates for individual zip codes, and sometimes you can find them for individual neighborhoods, but this time we're going to look at the crime map of Louisville, and you can see here that there are a few violent crimes and a few property crimes that occur here and there, but it's nothing like what you see in neighborhoods on the West End, so I would say it's fairly average. And to the left here, we have another school. This one is the Frederick Law Olmstead Academy North, a part of the Jefferson County Public Schools. Now, to give even more stats, because there's really not much else to say to fill the time for this video, we are currently in the Beechmont neighborhood, which is home to 9,000 residents, and 22% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher. The median household income is $44,000 per year, and the median value of owner-occupied housing units is $112,000, and the poverty rate is 16%. These numbers are pretty much identical to the zip code stats, only with a lower poverty rate, but also a lower median value of owner-occupied housing units. Hold on, that didn't sound right. A lower rate of median value of owner-occupied housing units? You know what? Screw it. I'm moving on with my life. You get the point. Anyway, Beechmont is located just south of the Waterson Expressway and just west of the Louisville International Airport. The neighborhood was developed beginning in the 1890s through the 1950s. It was originally intended as a neighborhood for the wealthy, but as you can see, things didn't go to plan there. It was originally a part of the city of Highland Park. Highland Park was a city that was incorporated in 1890 and was built mostly on the land where the airport now sits. All of the land that Highland Park once occupied, however, was annexed by Louisville in 1922. Also included in the original city of Highland Park was the Wilder Park neighborhood, which lies north of the Waterson Expressway. So as you can see here, the homes aren't too fancy, but it's not too shabby. You can think of the Waterson Expressway just north of here as the fine line where the crime starts to get worse the further that you head north of it. And well, hey, at least if you live here, you have this nice smoke shop right in the middle of your neighborhood where you can buy cheap cigarettes at your convenience. I mean, you can't live in Kentucky and not smoke, right? It's the local economy.
What is it that you have against Kentucky? This is a great state. Smoking cigarettes isn't a Kentucky problem, it's a national problem. Get your facts straight and stop singling out Kentucky.
You're right, Kentucky is a great state, and cigarette smoking is a national problem. But did you know that Kentucky is tied with West Virginia with being the state that has the highest percentage of adult smokers in the country? That's smoking tobacco, not weed or vape. 1 out of every 4 adults in Kentucky smoke cigarettes, and it's kind of a known thing amongst people who know about Kentucky that the state has historically been big in tobacco farming and that a higher percentage of Kentucky folks would smoke more tobacco than most other states due to the culture that exists here. It's sad, but it's true. It's also helped Kentucky become the state with the absolute highest cancer rate, as 510 out of every 100,000 in Kentucky have had or will have cancer. And that's unfortunate, but it's true, and it's mostly true due to the high number of cigarette smokers. Well, anyway, that was fun to explain to that guy. Now we're heading south, and to the right is Iroquois Park, where we started the video. It looks like this row of restaurants here is known as Colonial Gardens, which is nice to have in an otherwise boring part of town, I suppose. This is DeSales High School, home of the Colts. DeSales is a private college prep Catholic school. The school established in 1956, and recent enrollment counts show that it's a pretty small school, with having anywhere from 300 to 400 students annually before the pandemic. Currently, we're in the Iroquois Neighborhood, which is home to 7,600 residents, and the median household income is $46,000 per year. The median value of owner-occupied housing units is $115,000, and the poverty rate is a pretty high 27%.
I was a wide-eyed soul, searching high and low, when I found you on that day. Then the answer was clear. Winds drift others away, but we will always be near. I'm gonna love you forever, forever young together. The world is changing all around, but I found my solid ground. I'm gonna love you forever from now. The high roads are so hard to find, but I walk with you in mind. May the roads be like the veins that wind me back to your heart. Yeah, I'm gonna love you forever, and we will never surrender. With every wail in my soul and every move of my bones, I'm gonna love you forever from now. Raise your glass, don't set it down. Cheers to the years forever from now. So raise your glass, don't set it down. Cheers to the years forever from now. I'm gonna love you forever. I'm gonna hide you from danger. With every wail of my soul and every move of my bones, I'm gonna love you forever from now. Forever young together. With every wail of my soul and every move of my bones, I'm gonna love you forever from now. Forever from now.
Not too far north of here is Churchill Downs, where the famous Kentucky Derby is held every year. From here, though, we skip ahead towards a part where I drive through another Southside thoroughfare, and this time it's going to be Southern Parkway. One thing that I liked about the residential areas of Louisville were these directional parkways that are found throughout the city. Usually you'll find nice colonial-looking homes off of these parkways, like the one that we're driving on right now. This is the Beechmont neighborhood that we're in, which I talked about in depth earlier, but it looks like right here in the middle of the neighborhood you have a few blocks of stores and restaurants. This is the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, which is mostly known for being the international hub for UPS Airlines. If you ever order anything online that's made in another country and it's being shipped via UPS, your package will always end up here before being sent to a facility near you, where it will then be sent to your address. That's assuming if you live in the United States. Over half of the land that belongs to the Louisville International Airport is used by UPS, and it's actually considered to be a port of entry as many UPS airline flights will land in Louisville from other countries. Since Louisville isn't very large in terms of passenger traffic, the airport doesn't even crack the top 60 in the nation. When it comes to cargo traffic, though, the Louisville Airport ranks as the third busiest in the nation, behind only the Memphis International Airport, where FedEx operates from, and the Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport in Alaska, where many cargo flights will first land in the United States, whether it's UPS or FedEx or another company, when coming from Japan or China. The name of this neighborhood is pretty straightforward, as it's called the Southside Neighborhood. The median household income is $44,000 per year, and 21% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher. The median value of owner-occupied housing units is $110,000, and the poverty rate is a high 34%, following the same trends that we've been seeing throughout the neighborhoods in this video so far. And to the left here, you have a Navy Operational Support Center. And as we head this way, you really just have a large industrial area to the left and some more lower income residential subdivisions to the right as we head further away from the city. As I turn right here, I'm in an area that used to be a census-designated place that's called Fairdale. Just under 8,000 people live here today. In 2003, Fairdale was annexed by Louisville as a part of the Jefferson County and Louisville merger, which gave all of the unincorporated land that was left in Jefferson County to the city of Louisville. If you've seen my other Louisville videos, you'll know that I've mentioned that there are still over 80 individual municipalities in Jefferson County that are separate from Louisville, but many of them are really small and are home to less than 1,000 people. Nonetheless, as a part of the merger, you have plenty of rural and sub-rural areas like Fairdale that are technically a part of the Louisville city limits. It's really just going to be more areas like this as we drive along. We have another high school to see in this part of town, but there's also another big thing, and if it weren't for a historical event that occurred last year in 2020, there really wouldn't be much else to see out in this side of town, but this happens to be the part of town where Breonna Taylor's apartment was, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video. This is Doss High School, home of the Dragons. Among the most notable alumni is former NBA player Derek Anderson and photojournalist Larry Burkhead, who is also the father to Anna Nicole Smith's daughter. Smith was an actress and model who was mostly known for her work with Playboy, but she passed away in 2007 at the age of 39. Well, I didn't go any further along St. Andrew's Church Road, but if I did, and then if I would have took a left at St. Anthony Church Road, which was not that much further past Doss High School, I would have been at the location of Breonna Taylor's apartment. I received a comment on my video where I went through the worst parts of Louisville saying, "Thank you for not discussing Breonna Taylor," but it didn't happen in that part of town. It happened all the way down here in this quiet part of Louisville, so this is where I planned on mentioning it. Most of us know what happened with Breonna Taylor in March of 2020 when the police came through with a no-knock warrant and shot Taylor to death. It was nothing that Taylor did, rather her ex-boyfriend Jamarcus Glover, who was a part of a larger drug ring. Police originally tracked Glover down to Taylor's apartment and a separate apartment which belonged to the mother of Glover's kid. However, at the moment of, once the officers barged in, Taylor's current boyfriend at the time, Kenneth Walker, fired shots as he thought it was an intruder barging in. The officer fired shots in return, which unfortunately led to Taylor's death. The officers that were involved were fired shortly after, and Walker was cleared of his attempted murder charges as the judge ruled that Walker acted in self-defense. The incident helped fuel a national rally with Black Lives Matter, in which in some cases the protests and riots were extreme, causing violence and vandalism amongst many major U.S. cities, and Louisville was one of those cities that saw the protests turn violent at times. As a response to this historic case, the state of Kentucky restricted the use of no-knock warrants a year later. The only situations in which a no-knock warrant is allowed in Kentucky today is, quote, if giving notice to prior entry will endanger the life or safety of a person, end quote, or if, quote, the crime alleged is a crime that would qualify a person if convicted as a violent offender, end quote. It's sad that it happened as neither Taylor or Walker were the guy that the police were looking for. I will say that you are allowed to feel however you want to feel about the situation, whether you care or not, are sad or not, or if you feel like all police officers are bad, or if you feel like there are only a few bad apples that ruin it for all the good cops. You're also free to have your own opinion on thinking whether you feel that race is a major issue in this country or whether you don't. We live in a country where you're allowed to speak your opinion, but I think that most people, when understanding what happened here, agree that the change in Kentucky law over no-knock warrants was a good thing to come out of the unfortunate event. With that said, I'll let you think about that what you want, but that's what happened, and it happened in this part of town. I do end the video here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the evil monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also make sure to hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy checking out some of the featured playlists on this channel. Videos on other places like what you saw here can be found in my Louisville playlist or in my Kentucky playlist. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. We'll see you next time. Peace.